Saying there's no audio. How's the audio now? Did we just jack that up? We screwed it up. Okay, well, it's July 10th, guys. I'm going to start over. Sam's getting me all fixed up. I don't know what I'm doing half the time.
Yeah, there's audio.
Look, yeah, no, I had it on mute. No, they were right. They weren't crazy, dude. Yeah, my audience isn't crazy. They're spot on. They know what they're talking about. Guys, July 10th, 2024, noon Eastern time. Bitcoin's at 57,750. We've had the Germans dumping. They've got 13,000 Bitcoin left to sell. I love it that this market's able to take that kind of volume. And we move from, say, 57 down to 54, back to 60. Seems very healthy to me. This is Cardone Ask Any Question. I think Sam's going to ask the first question. And we're hoping that you guys that are live take the opportunity. We have 1 hour and only 1 hour because I got to bounce to another meeting on Node 40. Little plug for Node 40. If you guys are holding Bitcoin, if you hold one Bitcoin, you should most certainly contact Node 40. If you own anything that's nearing $250,000 of value in crypto, contact Node 40. Reach out to Perry Wooden and tell him that you want the same deal Gary Cardone has. Anyway, the reason I'm saying that is this tax bill just dropped. The tax rules. It's severe. 365-page document on how crypto needs to be reported. If you haven't read it, you want to hook up with Node 40 and get the executive summary. So what's the first question, Sammy?
So the first question I have for Gary, guys, is yesterday during our live, we talked about technology being able to deal with inflation. So Gary said technology will take care of inflation. Gary, I wanted you to expound upon that. What exactly did you mean, and how does technology deal with inflation?
Well, here's a good example. I think here's a reasonable example anyway. When and this is why I'm so focused on having a open market that doesn't have any kind of intervention. Because if you don't intervene with the market, supply and demand will actually speak to each other, and they'll start behaving appropriately. If I look at the crude oil market and the natural gas markets, all the innovation, a guy named Daniel Yergin became very, very famous in the late 90s. He wrote 2 or 3 books, must have been books this big, with all this analysis on peak oil. The whole thing was peak oil. His whole deal was, we're running out of crude oil. We're running out of reasonably priced crude oil, and the world's going to come to an end because crude oil is peaked out. That was at least 15 years ago, and I have not seen any peak anything. And we have his whole case was crude oil is going to have to be priced at $180 to $250, and like that has not happened. In fact, I would suggest that all the innovation, all the fracking that has made the United States the largest proven reserve holder of fossil fuel, that all happened at $30 crude oil. See, at $30 crude oil, they don't stop drilling, because people that go to school for 8 years to learn how to drill holes in the ground, that is what they're going to do. It's not about price. What their management teams did is, hey, if you want to drill, you got to figure out how to drill in a $30 environment. And that is when technology showed up. And they started, instead of drilling one well, they began drilling one platform. They'd use a platform, drill a well, and then go horizontal 6, 8, 12, 16 times, where one platform, one rig now has 8 to 12 different holes that it's drilling into. So we have a natural gas price 25 years ago was $3 to $6. In fact, $3 to $7. Today, natural gas has a difficult time exceeding $2.50. So we've had a natural gas price go down over 25 years. And that is all technology. So I now have streaming everything. I have streaming video. I look pretty much like a CNN newscaster. This is technology, dude. Okay, for $20, I'm basically running a CNN platform, a Fox News studio, and a NPR audio system, and I don't have any of the heavy expenses, heavy capital requirements that, say, Ted Turner had when he was building CNN down in Atlanta, right? The quality of this video alone is better than what CNN had when Ted Turner started. That's what we're talking about. Technology has a way of compressing everything. And so when I see the digitization, this is why I keep saying, hey, look, let's not think about this as money. This is not just about money. It's also about media. Look at what we're doing. This is decentralized. I have a $3,000 computer, a $600 or $6,000 camera here, some audio equipment, and I'm launching into the World Wide Web. I'm accessing every pipe in the world without all the burden and expense of holding utilities and Anderson Cooper. And the old way of doing business is simply getting eradicated, in my opinion, by this technology. So these are my examples of how technology solves inflation. People don't need to buy CNN, Fox, and all the news channels to get news today. Here's an example. Right now, I don't have to buy a $180 a year cable program. I can just go on a network and get my news from right here. So there's many, the newspapers, okay? I don't read newspapers anymore for the most part. I read the Financial Times from London. The rest of my news comes through X, comes through YouTube, comes through a multitude of different pathways. And those pathways are doing it cheaper, faster, and better. So cheaper, faster, and better is a de-inflationary, right? Like if my TV screen gets 10 times bigger, technology is allowing me to beat inflation because I'm not paying an incremental penny for every square inch or every pixel. I'm getting leverage from this technology boom. And I would say we're not even halfway there yet. So I think everything goes near cost to zero, dude. This is what I've always said. If you're selling software, sell software for 10-year fixed price contracts. Like the stuff we're doing with Node 40 right now, it is staggeringly interesting. The amount of data that we're going to be able to push into AI is staggering, man. AI is going to actually solve so many problems. Now, I think we're many years off, but we're here right now. And you have the ability to invest in businesses right now that allow us to take advantage of this technological boom, which I don't think we have 5% saturation yet of true technological boom where we're being hyper efficient. I saw, like, for instance, you were there, Sam. I saw a program today that to me looks better than StreamYard by a mile. It was easier to use. It was functional. Got a link to it. I knew exactly what to do. Community based. It's not a public company owned by some venture funds. It's actually a program where you and I could participate in ownership of this platform right here. And by the way, we're the ones that are supporting the platform. See, that's what's really interesting also. Creators, okay, may sell things cheaper, but what if you have less expense? What if you have less people to pay along the way? The toll maker, CNN, the film guy. What if there's just so few less people in the food chain that I can offer things at lower prices and the quality is better? The rules are much more open for everyone, inclusive, not exclusive. I find a lot of our technology is pretty inclusive, right? It's for Salesforce.com, right? Like Salesforce packaging, it's only for a certain type of clients, not for every small merchant. So we're going to have people copy and reprogram CRMs that are much better than Salesforce and do not require the expense of such a premier program. So hopefully that helps. Okay. What else is helped on inflation? I think my automobiles that I drive today are better than the ones I used to drive. Now they're more expensive, but are they better? And I think that's the way you have to look at. I'm okay paying my bank a little bit. I don't like the hassle of all the wire fees and the ACH. They just sent me a document on handling my own wires because I do about 4 a month. And quite frankly, the contract and the agreement and the complexity of me going through the bank and getting my own ability to do my own wires is more work than me calling someone 3 times a month, dude. Like, I looked at it and went, oh my God, this is more complicated than a fucking self-custody wallet. It was really complicated. And I decided just not to do it. I'll just keep making a phone call. It's costing them a fortune. 4 phone calls a month to move 200, 300 grand. And they have to have a human being call me every time, dude. And they miss me. Right. And then they have to send me a code. And it's more work on them than it is on me. I don't think banks can keep doing this and paying people $30 an hour to have me driving down hey, short code is, accounting code is, call me back, ping me. So all this is going to get easier, faster. And that is fighting inflation, because my time's worth a lot. Okay. My time is worth more tomorrow than it is today. If that makes sense to anyone. You kind of got to be a little bit older to understand what I just said, but my time today is worth less than it will be tomorrow. That is a fact. We got any other questions? We got a bunch of comments here. Let's see. Let's go through the comments. What will be your main topic of discussion at Bitcoin 24 with Mooch? If it's exciting, it'll be about politics. If it's boring, it'll be about Bitcoin, because we agree too much on the Bitcoin scenario. I think it's going to be good to street boys. I have a great story to tell you about Scaramucci that I will tell you in front of him, and he'll probably start crying when I tell the story. So that should be good. Anybody that's not going to Nashville for Bitcoin, you should go. If you're leaving from Tampa, we're going with a crew of people. If you are going from Tampa or St. Pete area, let us know. 24th through the 28th, I think there's going to be a lot of political stuff going on. And I'm looking forward to meeting the Trumps there. I can't guarantee that that's going to happen, but I think I'm going to meet both the Trump family in Nashville. May not meet Donald. And like, just heads up, I don't think Bitcoin's going to have the stage that everybody thinks it's going to have in this political game. I think there's so many issues beyond Bitcoin that are so fascinating and so important that it wouldn't surprise me if we didn't spend much time, if any time, on Bitcoin or crypto, other than just general discussion about finance in the world going forward. Lactal Thinking, Gary, you have been making some good videos, enjoying them. I'm all in on Bitcoin, however, can be approved for a mortgage with a bank. Good idea to take and invest in a single family properties. I hate single family properties. I think it's a horrible investment, and not sure why you wouldn't just keep buying Bitcoin. It's the best property investment in the world, assuming that you have a duration of, similar to other real estate projects, 4 to 12 years. Just wanted to say thanks for all the content. That's from JT Hasatal. Hello, people. So Thibaswamy, peak oil. That is the funniest shit ever. Yeah, it is. The guy became very, very famous. Okay. Like really, really famous. Spoke to the heads of every sovereign nation on the planet, and got it completely wrong. He says, what kind of mic am I using? I'm using a blue something. I have no idea, dude. Quite frankly, I think all these mics are. Here's a good example, dude. Technology. What did this mic cost? $50?
Yeah, probably.
$50, $100. Preach it, Gary. Johnny Dapper says. You know, I sometimes I think I should have been a priest. I think I'd have been a good priest. I'd have been a great teacher. Let's see. Questions? You see any questions down here, Sam? That
There's one guy, Diesel at Sea. I don't know how you'd answer this. I've been a trainer for 30 years and I specialize in training longevity. How can I leverage technology to increase my business? Sounds like a marketing question.
Yeah, what's his name? I don't.
Diesel at Sea. It's at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Near the bottom.
Yeah, don't know. Yeah, that's a blue Yeti. You guys are right. Let me go to another one because I didn't quite understand that question. But do you think there is a world where elections can be held on chain? Dude, I think there's a world in the future where AI is our politician. Like, it's a very interesting discussion. Why wouldn't we just have AI as the politician?
Do you have elections then? You want to get an election for AI?
Don't think you need them. You come up with your election should be on what is our Constitution. That's why I keep saying we're going to have to go to civil war because we need to reset. We need to reset. We need to agree on what it is we're agreeing on because we don't agree on what we're agreeing on anymore. Constitution, Bill of Rights. I think it's time. It's 200 plus years, dude. I think it's time to ask the country, do you want to be a part of this Constitution? And what is it? Like I keep saying, we should hold every week, dude. We should hold something on the Constitution and or maybe every 2 weeks. The Bill of Rights. I don't know what the fucking Bill of Rights really says. I'll admit it, okay? I don't know. And I'm pretty sure you might know, but most people your age don't have a clue, dude. Okay? I mean, somebody just told me they were from Missouri. I'm like, most people don't even know where Missouri is in the United States. So, hey, Gorilla, thanks for the super sticker. £2.49. Is that £2 or €2? I do really appreciate the sterling and the euros because they trade for a inflated synthetic premium to the US dollar. We need a constitutional convention. I think we need so much. I mean, look, if you just think about it, we need a constitution and a rule set Bill of Rights for the digital universe. We have no rules for that world. We're using the old rules of 1930 to try to deal with this future technological world. It's ludicrous to think that the old school legacy spreadsheets, PowerPoints, long emails. Dude, I think emails are getting ready to get killed. Okay. I've told all you guys, quit sending me emails. I hate the emails. It's too long. Here's where technology goes wrong. The email has become very bastardized, in my opinion. And that it's being used as a way to appear that you're busy, but nothing is getting done. In between the ping pong game, hey, I would like lunch today. Email comes back. What time? Well, fucking the same time as yesterday. What would you like for lunch? Well, I don't really fucking care. There's 5 emails, dude. Like people know already, I don't care about food. All you got to do is stick something in front of my face. Okay, hey, you're going to Atlanta. You're going to Nashville. When are you going? Well, gosh, when's the damn show? Oh, it's the 24th to the 28th. Guess what? We're probably going somewhere between the 24th and the 28th. Well, how are we going to get there? Well, how did I travel there last time? Jesus Christ, man. I mean, nothing gets done. So I'm down to the point of text me. I'll say yes or no. Okay. Or come in every morning and go through a list of shit and do not send me any emails. You know what I'm talking about? The ping pong?
Yeah.
It's horrible, dude. You get 3 or 4 people on an email chain, much less 10 or 15.
Never ends.
10 or 15, dude. 5 emails, people asking stupid questions, and everyone's in the loop. And everyone opens the email and looks at it because nobody wants. You didn't even open your email. I have 24,000 emails that are unopened. You've seen it on my 24,000 unopened emails. Yeah, dude. Why would I open all these responses? They're 7 email responses on something that's just stupid. So this is where technology really goes wrong. I think we have a lot of room to get more efficient. Personally, I don't think we're anywhere near peak efficiency. Swami will like that. Peak efficiency. Maybe I should change my name to Dan Jurgen Jr. and do a peak efficiency. We're at peak efficiency as Americans. Who else has got a good question?
Gorilla. Gary, what's your opinion on AI?
I think that there's an awful lot of money and people focused on AI and that it will be significant. I think it's being grossly overstated today of what it can do. I do think it has great capacity, but in order for AI to be really effective, you have to have the data first. And this is where Elon, Amazon, Facebook, Google have a huge, I'm sure there's some others, but they seem to have a huge head start because they have all the data. And all of you guys gave them 100% total control, legal right to use it. Because I get back to, we do not have a Bill of Rights on how the web and the digital industry should work. And in my opinion, it should not work with contracts that cannot be understood or read by a 18-year-old kid or a 16-year-old or a 28-year-old. If you can't read a terms and conditions or a contract that's digital without having a lawyer, I think something's wrong. Okay. And there's not, every one of these agreements are different. Why we do not have one standard agreement for everything, ETFs, cash, Bitcoin purchases, everything, dude. All the rules are the same for everyone. You can't start picking winners and losers just because they have a different size balance sheet or more data. So yeah, I think AI is a deal. I just don't think it's a deal tomorrow morning. Got any other questions?
Yeah, below on the room. Mike Edwards, would you consider tokenizing any of your existing real estate?
I've asked people to do it 37 times and nobody shows up to do it. Nobody will show up to do it this week either. And the reason is real estate's not fungible. We got to quit over promising to people. Okay. Like we have so much to do before we get to real estate. Like, what is fungibility? Do you know what fungibility means?
It means limited.
No. Fungibility means, let's pretend like this is a glass of water. Okay. This water is fungible with all the other water. There's no difference in this. Crude oil. This is a barrel of crude oil. Crude oil is fungible, dude. Okay. A particular blend of crude oil is equal to the same blend of crude oil. Natural gas, a natural gas with 1,100 BTUs in it is equal to natural gas with 1,100 BTUs in it. Like there's no difference. There is literally no difference. There's exactly the same amount of butane, pentanes, water, everything is the same. So Coca-Cola, commodity. It's all the same, right? Now you can go create root beer and try to market it against Coca-Cola, but it's not Coca-Cola, right? So if fungibility means that one thing equals the other without any difference, you can't take a piece of real estate like this property. I live in a nice neighborhood, right? My property is completely different than the guy next door, though. My lot is twice as big. My house is 3 times as big. My pool's different. My grass is different. I have different trees in it. I have different pollutants in the ground. I have a different title. Everything's different, right? The piece of land across the street cannot possibly be tokenized in the same way as this house. So I can see corporate large buildings being tokenized, but they're multi-dwelling and they're probably corporate real estate. Now, I think that's where that's going to happen first. I think we're a long way. We could tokenize crude oil, natural gas, every equity trade on the planet, all the bonds. Dude, 7-year note, 7-year bond is a 7-year bond, is a 7-year bond, is a 7-year bond. That is you can token. Like there's no issues with the neighbor next door. His roof is not as good as mine. See these little differences like really blow out being able to tokenize millions of pieces of property because they're not exactly the same. However, crude oil, you do the whole thing, dude. 110 million barrels a day. You could do it. Oh, see how different that is? Oh, I could tokenize 110 million barrels a day, or I can go fuck around with real estate that's got all these issues. And it's a messy, messy cartel. The real estate market is quite frankly, probably more criminal in terms of who's bringing value and getting paid than the energy space. Because at least in the energy space, they have massive credit lines. But real estate broker doesn't have to put up shit. Here's another area. Okay. How many real estate brokers have you seen get super rich by hunting all the deals, but they keep the best deals for themselves, right? And they like, for me, that's a really severe conflict of interest. You're supposed to be representing the buyer or the seller, yet you're able to go and look at all these properties, and you go and buy properties for yourself over and above your clients. For me, it's a little dodgy. It's a conflict of interest. And you have basically a club that everybody wants to make the 6%. The 6% on real estate has become a way to pay the whole industry, all these people in the middle, a bit of their fee. And it's very difficult to break these apart because you have 4 to 8 different entire industries or businesses trying to protect their profit: title, legal, insurance, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I think we're a long way from tokenization. Doesn't mean that you wouldn't like go handle title. Now, if the NFT players came in, hey, we're going to go attack the title part of the business. Okay, I got that. I just don't think you can attack all of it. But anyone that knows how to NFT, I am selling this property for $18.2 million. It's a premier property in Tampa. I want to do it with Bitcoin if at all possible. I would take some other crypto. Probably I'd take Ethereum and a couple of others. But if somebody knows how to really properly NFT a property and get it sold, reach out to me directly. What other questions we have?
Do you see Swami's questions?
Fibby, I think I must have it. There are different grades of crude, sweet, sour, etc. Yep. Was that a question?
No. If you scroll up,
Mm-hmm.
Swami asks, how might the adoption of Bitcoin as a legal tender by countries influence global geopolitical dynamics?
How does so countries putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet?
Yeah, how much Bitcoin?
I think it depends on who it is. I think if Turkey does it, which I think Turkey's in a, like, to me, the countries that are going to be, the countries that are going to do this are very similar to, will have the same type of characteristics or issues that Michael Saylor had with his business. They will realize they don't have the ability to print money. This will be their common core characteristic. They've tapped into somebody else's ability to tap to source funding, meaning they can print money. They've probably aligned themselves with a military complex like America, and they're piggy in the middle, geopolitically and geolocation wise. They're piggy in the middle of a lot of conflict. And I see Turkey being like, wow, man, you're on the edge of so much conflict and problems, where they're maybe also needing to buy energy. They have to buy resources. They're short resources, right? I think some of those countries that have, they're terrified as to their future. You'll see them begin to take some moves, and they may be small. I mean, MicroStrategy didn't just move in with all of it on day one. He started allocating. If we see that, I think that begins to change the dynamic. Or maybe we get 4 or 5 more South American countries. I think the El Salvador experiment is interesting, but it's not. It's going to be. It needs to be one of 10, right? It needs to be. You can't. It's just too small. But I think that most countries will not be left with many other options, dude. You know, the option is going to be either align yourself with a big powerhouse, or quietly align yourself with the new world order, which I believe is digital. And to believe that these people aren't listening to and watching what Fidelity's doing and what BlackRock's doing, it's hard for me to believe that no country is sitting down really going, hey, what's going on here? They may not like it. They may not understand it, but I don't think you keep going, okay, this is a nothing burger. You have too many, dude, you have too many serious companies in this space now. So I think everyone's looking at this.
Someone asked, easy question. I'm in Kentucky. You drink bourbon, and if so, what is your favorite?
I don't drink bourbon. I'm
What do you
never.
drink?
Well, one, I don't drink a lot. I can't handle alcohol very well. I love a Lagavulin 16 or above. Love that whiskey. It's the only whiskey I actually drink. And if I'm going to drink, I'm probably going to drink tequila.
Really? You're a tequila guy?
Oh, I love tequila. I mean, I love tequila within yeah, tequila. I don't get sick with tequila. So it doesn't make me feel bad. It doesn't give me a headache. But like wine, I can't drink wine at all. I hate wine. Gives me a headache every bloody time, unless it's $500 a bottle.
Ali asks, you think CPI will affect the Bitcoin price tomorrow?
I'm starting to believe that nothing affects the Bitcoin price. It does whatever the fuck it wants to do. I am really there now. I'm like, I don't care anymore. I just want to have more Bitcoin next week and next month. So I don't think anything's hurting Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's just going to do whatever it's going to do. CPI, it's a bullshit number, dude. So I don't even know why people get all caught up in this. The CPI number is being played with. It's not, they keep changing the metrics. And every time you change the metrics, you change, you're comparing one thing against another that has nothing to do with each other. Talk about lack of fungibility. Okay. You cannot keep changing what, like these jobs. Okay. The job numbers. I mean, is it U2 or U6? Is it like you guys get really comfortable when 75% of all the employment growth is from government? That should be a negative indicator. Shouldn't be a positive. Fucking market should go down when you see the government hiring a bunch of people. Okay, you're in a deficit and you're hiring 75% of the employment growth comes from government. Why does the market go up? It's not a positive employment number, dude. Having the people work inside the government is not productive. Making 120 grand a year to work inside the government, what the fuck are you doing? Nothing, dude. They're doing zero, okay? They're taking a paycheck and pretending to be a positive stat. It is only when I hire someone where they're actually helping society, because we're creating something. And if we don't create something and produce something valuable, guess what? I go out of business and they lose their job. And the government, they just keep hiring more people. Okay, why would you hire more people when you're failing? These are the basic questions that need to be asked right now. I know this was a question and answer, but like this next 4 years, we need to be looking at everybody going, what is your grade? What did you do for your state? Did it increase? Did your GDP increase as a state? If not, get the fuck out and take your whole crew, dude. Like I would be happy to be elected. And if I don't hit my numbers, dude, take me down. Maybe that's what we need to do is go to more of a business model. Go, dude, these are stats you have to fix. If you're going to run on this and make them run on it. I'm in Florida. This is what I'm going to do to the school system. This is what I'm going to do to the tax. This is what we're going to do to the roads. And in 4 years, look, this was my list of items to do. They're real hard things. They're with defining metrics. They're not, we're going to have parades and everyone's going to be happy. That is not something you can measure. Okay. Like we need to be measuring things. Okay. If we have 300,000 immigrants in Florida, then hey, let's go figure out how to either get them legal or get them out. That'd be my deal. Get them legal or get them out, dude. One or the other. And but most certainly we have to know who's here. That's a fair request, right? That we know who's in our backyard. Is that okay? Because I'd like to know everybody in our backyard. I'd like to have everybody with a passport or a license. I think that's legit. Some identity cards so that you know where the hell this person came from. Do I have a view on layer 2 for Bitcoin like STX and others? I don't have a view. I think Bitcoin is a layer 1 is where the investment is put today. All these layer 2s are ideas. I have nothing against the layer 2s. They're ideas. They're not worked out yet. Some will do great. Some may do great and then still get upset by a newcomer. Being first does not always means that you end up first in the final. Sometimes being first, you don't even end up finishing the race. So I have 1,000 stories of people that started first. So Bitcoin's the only first business I've ever invested in. Bitcoin is the first deal I've ever gone into that the concept was first, and I think it's actually going to survive. Most first movers don't survive, man. Really, they don't. And if you look at Google and Amazon and some others, oh wow, they all got here not by being first.
Gary, can you take us through your process when you are becoming a student, and then the moment you feel comfortable putting money behind a thesis? It's a pretty good question, I think.
Yeah, who asked that question?
That's from Greg Martin.
Greg Martin, I am always a student. I have never, ever been I don't think I've ever had a second in my life where I thought I knew everything. So I'm always a student.
What about with Bitcoin? How long were you?
But I don't have to be a student. I think his question is, just because I identify myself as a student doesn't mean that I can't make an investment decision, right? Like I don't have to, I'm never going to get 100% comfortable that I know everything. I knew enough about Bitcoin to go, okay, this is interesting. Let me buy a few Bitcoin here and see what happens. The more I studied it, the more my thesis was solidified. I became a better, more knowledgeable person. Initially, you actually lose your knowledge, but anyway, that's a whole different story. But the more I studied it as I went through the 25 plus hours, if I can get over 25 hours, I can get to 100 hours. If I can do anything for 10,000 hours, I will become great at it. I am so totally convinced of that now. But I think I'm always a student and I'm always learning. And that doesn't mean that I have to know everything to make a move. Also, I think I don't ape into these deals. I think people think I just ape into it, look at a deal and go, hey, let me put $40 million in this. Now what I do, I kind of ease into it. I've been in this now 5 or 6 years, and I keep adding as my knowledge becomes firmer. My understanding becomes better, then I'm able to deploy more and more. So to me, that's the right strategy. And the beauty is if you stay focused on a couple of areas, I don't have to know everything. And therefore I can put a tremendous amount of knowledge into 1 or 2 areas and become really, really, really good at them. Hopefully that helps.
What did you catch yourself saying though? How you initially lose your knowledge? What do you mean by that?
Well, I think you go through this curve of understanding. So I think when I'm
for a topic or
any topic I'm studying, I bring a bias to that topic, right? I bring something that I think I know, usually have to unknow that. Like, especially with Bitcoin, some of the things that I thought I knew that were certain in my universe, I had to re-challenge. Okay. Like I had never seen a finite supply. So I started comparing Bitcoin against oil. I started comparing Bitcoin against homes. I started comparing Bitcoin against fine art. And the fine art was the best analogy I could come up with. And so I started looking at Bitcoin as, oh, wow, this is like fine art or a finite baseball card, right? If I do nothing more than look at Bitcoin as a unique, once in a lifetime, there's only so many of these units, whether they're baseball cards, diamonds, crude oil, fancy cars, watches. I think when you have a product that looks like fine art, sounds like fine art, is unique, it's one of a kind, there's always going to be enough money around the world that says, I want one of those, or I want all 21 million of them. I mean, if I could have bought all 21 million, dude, if I'd have been smart enough, I should have. So that's what I mean. I have to go through an area of challenging my old thesis, and because it doesn't always hold up. What else we got here? Government should not be increasing GDP. I don't think governments can increase GDP. It's not a business. It should be held. Yeah, you're right. I didn't mean the GDP thing, but I mean, I do kind of mean the GDP. We need some metrics to measure it. Okay. I mean, what they should be doing, one of the metrics should be, hey, we're cutting the size of our company. They never do that. They never get rid of anyone. And that brings me to something. What other businesses run this way? Where year after year, 4 years after 4 years, decade after decade, the government can fail to hit its metrics to perform, and our employment role gets bigger there. What business operates that way, dude? Can you please tell me, anyone, tell me what business operates where you continue to add people and you're broke and you never get rid of anyone? Okay, that all has to change. Okay, I think a lot of people in unions and stuff are going to be really disappointed when Trump comes in, because, dude, I'm going to be banging on going, you need to dump half the people. Okay, literally half the people. Do you know how many people work for the U.S. government?
Too many.
But how many? Because actually, I need to find that out right now. It's crazy. How many? See, these are great questions. Hey, like in the last 20 years, how many? 23 million employees in the U.S. government did. Okay, federal government, according to the most recent data from the Bureau of Labor Stats in 2024, last month, there were approximately 23.364 million employees in the U.S. federal government. This figure includes civilian employees, excluding military personnel.
And that's not state, local, or county.
I'm getting to that one. Okay. 23.3 million outside military. State and local, according to the U.S. Census Bureau's annual survey of public employment as of March 2022, 19.2 million employees. Now, here's a question. That's 42.6 million employees. Okay, that is 20% of the population of the United States, including infants and grandmothers. So let's really make it 250 million people in the United States. 180 of them are adults, working adults, not infants and not grandparents, right? So you have 180. Did I say 180 million? You got 42 million people working for the government. A quarter of our working class works for the government. It's sick. Okay. Now, here's another question. Why is the federal government can report through the BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, that they have 23 million as of last month, but the best numbers we can get from local and state is going back 2 years. These are fundamental reporting problems, dude. You have states that can't even report how many people they employ back 2 years ago. This should be up to date, month to month. State of Louisiana hired this many people. State of Louisiana let go of this many people. The federal government let go of this many people. We have none of this, okay? None of this. And we don't even know. And by the way, if you were to take the average dollar generated by each employee, like they do in some of these Googles, you know, Google has this many employees and that they make $10,000 an hour or something. And none of these people make any money for the company being the country, right? So you got 42 million people that cannot put a positive dollar on the value that they bring to the market. If I just start looking at the employment numbers, dude, like this is, you win a campaign. Well, it makes you mad, but you actually win a political run on this. These metrics are so bad, it's horrible. Now, what you and I should go do, in fact, I'd love to give you this job, is to go look at these numbers and how they've changed over 15 years. 42 million. How did it get to 42 million? Oh, wow. Last year it was 38. Oh, the year before it was 35. Oh, the year before it was 33. And you just see, oh, well, only people that are getting hired are government people. And the rest of you people are having to work at 7-Eleven. Fucking like vote for that, okay? Vote for that guy. You're an idiot, dude. If you're voting for these people that do this, you're an idiot. You should demand that your tax dollars are turning into positive revenue for our country, so our children can go to good schools. We can drive on good roads, and we're proud. Our dams aren't breaking. Our bridges aren't falling apart. And our entire population is massively polarized on just lies, dude. Like, I think I could cut 20 million people out of the government. Imagine that, dude. Cut 20 million people. That's $2 billion a year. What is that? $20 billion a year in fees? Like, staggering, dude. Like, you have to look at this and go, look, we should also compare it to, hey, how many people does Italy hire in state and federal? As a comparison. Tiny. How many does the UK hire? Okay, it's not. The UK only has 72 million people. What? We have 42 million people working in the US government, and England only has 72 million people, dude. Like, it's the size of a country working for our government. Okay.
Doesn't include private contractors, does it?
Probably not, man. Probably not. Okay. Yeah. Total bill for all. Anyway, I got 1,000 people in this room. I had no clue, dude.
Yeah. Good.
So according to the data, the total number of federal employees is 23,000. Check out what they're paid. Can I stick this on my screen?
Yeah, you know how to screen share the present button?
Yeah, I don't know that people really care. Can I just read it to you? What works better?
Either or.
Okay, so who wants to guess? I need people answering in the responses. Who wants to guess what the estimated average hourly rate is for 23.3 million employees? Anybody want to know? Does anybody want to know? Yeah. Average hourly rate, man. Can't look it up though. Okay, you gotta be honest here.
25.
$25. Okay, who else got a response? We got any other responses? $25. We had a 25 bid from Samuel.
Some people are saying 53. We got a 40. We got a 75. 42.
Queenie's got close. Okay, you guys are so far off. $94, bro. $94. You guys should be so pissed off here. See, this is what I'm saying, man. Like, you guys have to get angry. I make a lot more than 94 an hour, okay? So it's not bothering me, but you ain't making 94 an hour. This is ridiculous. Okay, so 23 million people at $197,000 a year. That's the average federal employee is 197 a year, all in, okay? That is 4.6 trillion just for the federal. That's not state. That's not local, dude. That's just federal, okay? That's one half of the 42 million people I talked about. $94.93 an hour, $4.6 trillion. So the total bill for federal government is approximately 4.6 trillion. To put that in perspective, okay, it is equivalent. That 4.6 trillion is equivalent to the GDP of Japan, the combined GDP of Canada, Italy, and Brazil, and the market cap of Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon combined. So I think every person that's not getting paid $93 an hour and they're a U.S. citizen, you should be so angry and get off your ass and do something about it, because whatever you've been doing, they have been robbing from you, man. I make a lot more money than this an hour. It's not me that's going to have a problem here. It's going to be you. And we and you are not being vocal enough. So I'm going to really suggest you get pissed off. Start looking at the information and getting the accurate data. The politicians are not going to give you this information. Okay, it's horrifying. But I'm going to give the politicians the information. We're going to start asking the right questions.
You got 7 minutes left. I got one more question for you. Aloha from the islands. Are you familiar with the 18 to 20-year real estate cycle, which comes to the end in the next couple of years?
I think there's a cycle for everything. If you're saying that there is a specific, unique real estate, look, I think we're in an 80 to 100-year cycle right now. It's called the fourth turning. It's gonna, I think it's gonna shake up a lot of things. But if you're telling me that real estate has to get fixed, there are some big, big problems in real estate. I think tokenization actually is going to help some of these issues. But the real estate market is very odd because it doesn't need to get fixed if it's just extended. I mean, it would be very, very easy to fix the corporate real estate position from not becoming a problem. Like a liquidity problem where there's things you can do in real estate you can't do in other markets. Just got man, we're gonna have a good time in Nashville, dude. There's so much going on. Just got invited by Mark Moss to an event. I'm getting invited to so many bloody events. And the political angle on this Nashville trip is going to be like hot.
We got one super chat that I want you to read and go over
Sure.
to the top from Thin Grind, $20. I'm selling my e-commerce startup in the music space. I built the biggest podcast in the music production space, but my passion has drastically changed. I would love to bring my skill set to Cardone Digital Ventures.
Dude, like it. Contact Sam at Samuel Arms on Twitter, at Samuel at Cardone Digital Ventures, and pitch your deal to Sam. If you guys have any ideas or pitches, go through Sam at Sam Arms on Twitter, or Samuel at Cardone Digital Ventures without any spaces.com. Cardone Digital Ventures, just like it's spelled down there without the spaces. And he'll get you on the calendar to look at an opportunity, an idea. We're starting to do a little consulting for very small, for a particular type of owner, founder, manager of a business. Businesses that have big ideas are already big businesses that need some work, like intense. It's 2 or 3, 4 day program, high level, for 3 or 4 different business owners. It's a really cool program. I've been through it probably 3 times. But reach out to Sam and happy to have a conversation. I need a lot of help. We need a lot of help. We think there's a lot of opportunities here. But we also need the right culture, the right people, the right mindset. That's the most difficult thing to find, is because I think it seems to a lot of people that there's a lot of easy money in the social network world. There probably is a lot of easy money. The question is, does it last? Like you heard this last phone call I was just on, right? I'm like, dude, okay, it's a lot of money. I could make a lot of money in 6 months, but like, it's not lasting. And so I'm not really interested in one-time hits. What else we got, man? Does Gary know about Chainlink? I used to own Chainlink. Chart price doesn't look so awesome to me, but Paul's last comment, yeah, culture is hard. Culture is the challenge. That's why bosses, managers, leaders, teachers, politicians, we really need the politicians to think about our culture. I think it's the most important thing. If we focus on our culture and what we believe in, then all the math moves around that. But you can't have the math being the core. You have to go, hey, what are my principles? What are my principles? Period. What are my principles as a human being? What are my principles as a family? What are my principles as a baseball team, a basketball team, the community? What are my principles joining a company? What are the principles of that company? What's the principles of the religion or belief system? And then everything else, money, math, jobs, careers, what you focus on, to me, that all comes secondary to the principles. And that's what we need a president talking about. And that's what we need a VP talking about. And that's what we need a Secretary of State talking about, a Secretary of Treasury What are our principles? I think we've lost our way. And if we keep the principles in front of us, I think a lot of these issues will pop out. We cannot keep running everything on number go up. My stock price is up, so the world is great. Or I can buy a house for $750. These are bad metrics, man. Bad metrics to measure a world on. Do we have good education? Do we have kids coming out of school that can spell, communicate, and show up on time? If you can't do that, I don't give a fuck what NVIDIA stock's doing. This country's losing its way. So you can't, and I'm sorry for the aggressive language, but I think it's the only language that actually is valuable in the conversation. It's so bad. All right. Well, guys, thank you for the likes. Thank you for following. You guys follow Sam for sure. He's helping me out a lot. And if you guys could follow me on YouTube, on Twitter, on all these other, we're doing the spaces. We're expanding those spaces a bit to cover some other areas. So that's really going to be exciting. So appreciate your attention, your time, your money, your thoughts. And last thing you got to do today, though, you got to go do something really, really, really nice for somebody. And don't tell anybody about it. Okay. That's a really cool little life hack. All right. Thank you, guys. Is that?
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That's actually very good.
Yay.